just to optimize your profile, give you an idea. So here we have our banner. Typically the banner is something artistic, something easy, something that looks nice, visually pleasing. It'll oftentimes, from my experience, have your name, and then it'll have your value proposition. And so let's say for project management, let's say in this value proposition you say, I effectively manage programs or projects. Plug and play. And then if you have a personal website, you can see that here. Alright, so going down into the next section. And also you can just make this on Canva. Alright, so I would recommend putting your letters right here, because when they search up MPH, they'll be more likely to find you. And then this is what you want people to find you for. So for example, healthcare consultant, MPH. If someone were to search this, they would be more likely to find me because I have the keyword MPH and I have the keyword healthcare consultant. And so just kind of like setting yourself up to be found easier. And then choose your industry, education, and then you want to make sure that you put the metropolitan area that you're close to, because a lot of recruiters are going to look at the metropolitan area versus the actual individual city. Alright. And so when we go here, because I'm viewing it on my side, there's a section that you could be able to see if you weren't viewing your own profile. So there's a featured works page. I would recommend putting your CV or resume. I would recommend CV. And what that's going to allow a person to do is going to be able to take all of this information in a nicely written PDF format. And that's different than just downloading somebody's LinkedIn profile, which you can do. This is just making it more visually pleasing, in my opinion, for someone to go to their hiring manager and say, hey, look who I found. Do you want to contact this person, such and such? And then, you can also add the open to work for particular ones, and make sure that you choose one focused job title, and then add some non-focused. So for example, this right here, I wouldn't say this is I wouldn't say this is optimized, because they're very different. These are very different things, and it's not focused. So you would want, let's say, project manager. You could put project coordinator. You could put grants manager, something a little more specific and niche within project management. You could also put IT project manager. Something going from a very focused, broad keyword to something more specific and niche. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. Make sure you put metropolitan area that you're closest to. Okay, and so same thing with providing services. I definitely need to update mine. However, that's a job for another day. So let's go back to profile. And so the first part is usually the same thing as what's right here. It's just saying it a little differently. And what you can do is you can Google how to make this bold, and it'll stand out. And so in the first sentence, at least in my opinion, it deals with how to tell your origin story about why you do what you do, and then you work your way to what exactly is you would like to do now. So you went from origin story to where you want to go into the future. And so for informatics is usually broken down into these three. And this is just from looking at like, let's say, job postings. So you're looking at job postings about what's common, what's most needed. And so you kind of get a pattern. So you look at it from domain knowledge, technical competency, and business management. I would say oftentimes is not too significantly different than other positions. And the way I end it is usually with a salutation. And so going into the experience, it's kind of like however which you want to do. It's going to be specific. Boom. And also I would say this is kind of like for your reference too. So for example, when you make a CV, you may not list like 4 bullets for each term, I guess is the best word. So for example, for each one I have like 5 duties, just explaining what I did during that time. So when I go back into making my tailored resume, I'm going to have something to pull from. And so think of this as like your repository of information right here. This is where you can talk like more detailed, more focused. So that way you can look at a job posting and say, okay, well, I did this. I want to relate it to that requirement by saying X, Y, and Z. And I have something to start with as opposed to just starting from scratch. And then going into your education, just kind of make sure you list it all. And then, once you graduate, I would recommend taking away that right there, that year. And that's kind of like some people want to leave it on, some people don't want to leave it on. For some people, recent graduates, some recruiters may relate that to years of experience within the field. And so say, for example, I graduate 2025 and I'm saying that I want to work in public health. And they may say, well, you probably don't have a lot of experience, provided I'm not telling you my story from my experience section. So it's just one of those where you can or cannot do up to you type things. And so for my licenses and certifications, I really like Coursera. Coursera's like $40. Yeah, like $40 a month, and you get unlimited access to certificates. And so, for example, I've gotten all of these for the same price and increased my toolkit. For example, I understand Python now. Well, I'm not like a master of Python, but yeah, I kind of understand it a bit more now. Yeah. And then the skills. So I'll admit I haven't updated this in a very long time, but when you get your skills, when you choose them, you should max out. You should be maxing out all 50 skills. You're the one who's saying that you have them. I would recommend that you do it. But I guess the question is, how do you get these skills? So let's go over here. Went into LinkedIn program management, and I chose the domain healthcare. It took me a little while. Let's say this right here. And so based off my skills, my profile matches this job. And so that's going to show when I apply. It's going to be, hey, this person is more likely to be a successful candidate because of the skills he listed. And so that's kind of one of the points of optimizing your profile. And so I guess next question is, how do you get these skills? Well, I would click here to apply. It's going to ask you to share your profile. I didn't do that, so you click it there. It'll take you here. Okay, so now you have all of this HTML. Okay, so let's take that, and then let's see if we can quickly pull up some keywords with ChatGPT. So let's prep ChatGPT. Let's say you are a career advisor working at my university. You're not intelligent robot. Simulating a human being. Alright, so please give me the skills or keywords from this job posting at. Alright, let's see if we are able to get it to work. Alright, so now you can see we are getting our skills specifically for this type of role. Let's see, expand with, let's see, what is this right here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times 12 minus 50 is 38. Unique values. All right. And these are pulled directly from this job posting right here. And then we'll just ask to verify. Oops. Go right here. Okay, so we can't verify it, but we can see that originally it was pulled from this job description and the job title itself from other job postings. And let's see, let's go over it. I mean, everything seems to match pretty well. Nothing seems out of place. Yeah, I would say for the most part, this is a great starting point. I feel like it'll get you 90% there. I think that other 10% just comes with a little more tweaking. But overall, I think it is good to go. Okay, so now you're going to input your skills. You can also choose to demonstrate your skills through tests. For me, I didn't really see the reward to all that time spent, so I didn't do it. Second option, you can ask to be endorsed by people within your network. You say, hey, this person knows program evaluation, the skill of public health, health education, health policy, and so forth. Yeah, see, mine are all over the place. All over the place. But to the point, I think you understood the gist. And then the recommendations. The recommendations help when a recruiter views your profile. They'll look at how many you have received, what these people are these people relevant, to what you are doing, because it's kind of irrelevant if you have an accountant support you if you're working in public health. It doesn't add up professionally. But of course, they could always talk about the soft skills. Then you could always talk about the given. Then you could they'll kind of see the received versus given ratio. And I'm not quite sure what that tells them exactly, but I know that's something that they do look at. For me, is sort of like, just saying nice things to people, and hopefully it brightens their day. There are no ulterior motives for my ratio or anything like that. And then these are just honors and awards. And then if you speak another language, even if it's elementary, I would be sure just to put it. And then these are the professional, and then interests. Some people look at interests. So for example, you could say, I'm going to free up my scrolling feed by unfollowing all of these places. Yeah, as you can see, mine is kind of like all over the place. It needs to be optimized. And so what this will do is going to allow you to see who you're following and what they're posting. So for example, if you want to work at a certain company, then you can free up your scrolling space so that when they post it, that posting gets more priority. All right, let's see here. We went over that. You can add your papers there if you want. Yeah, I honestly volunteering too. So yeah, I mean, I would even add stuff that you've done on your own. So for example, the Toy for Tots drive, or while I was at Azusa Pacific, where I did Operation Resupply. And I would say that's like the majority of it. The other part is the networking. And the networking is mainly going out to find advice of how you can place yourself into the role of a competitive candidate, or at least better tell your story about why you are the best candidate. So until then, see you next time.